welcome back to the channel, everybody. I'm super excited to showcase these different nations, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, from the Baltic Battalion DLC. As you guys see, there's a lot of new units. The Scimitar, which is going to be an excellent IFV vehicle. Doesn't have any anti-tank missiles, but of course the Leopard, very famous. Could go head-to-head with T-90s. And of course the CV-90, sort of a Bradley, but a lot less armored. Does have anti-tank capabilities, and I believe has a 40mm gun, a little bit more versatile. So this is kind of a good overview of what you guys are going to see as far as units. I believe it's about 30 new units added to the free DLC, which is going to be super cool. And today we're going to do a little bit of a deep dive into the statistics and also obviously gameplay of the new scenario they have at Kadaga. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. You guys are seeing the famous Leopard 2A8. So this is the CV-90 with a 40mm cannon, and it has a lot of other cool statistics. This is the UH-60M. Now, of course, guys, I could sit here and give you a lot of the analytics and whatnot. We are going to do that at the end of the video. I thought you guys would enjoy that. If you want to actually stick around and hear all the the boring statistics that nobody really wants to sit down and listen, that are very important if you want to be good at this game.
The Russian forces are rapidly advancing toward Riga from the north and also from the east. The garrison inside the city isn't prepared for this assault. The nearby military base at Kadaga is currently hosting forces from 3 Baltic states who are participating in joint training exercise together. The base must be evacuated before it's surrounded, and the Baltic forces will conduct a fighting retreat to gain us time.
I do like the camera work. Camera work is very good.
The Russian assaults are well synchronized, and we need to split our forces to avoid being outflanked from one side or the other. The evacuation of the base is still ongoing, so you need to gain us some time by conducting a fighting retreat with your troops. You will have limited reinforcements coming from Riga, so make sure to keep your units alive and fall back whenever it's necessary, rather than losing them. We need to split to cover 2 axes of attack. Send your troops in the direction of your choice and we'll cover the other side.
Looks like a very gloomy day. I think Broken Arrow has actually stepped up a little bit as far as...
Alright, you take the left, we take the right. Let's go.
Man, this guy keeps interrupting me. I'm gonna have to slap him on the face.
The enemy forces pushing from the north on the left flank are mostly motorized infantry units. Be careful not to be outrun by their speed. Dig in, hold the line.
Hold the line! Stay with me!
Don't let them reach the highway to...
Lovely. But, yeah, so we gotta hold this flank here. And our ally is supposed to hold this on the right-hand side, which you guys will see they don't. At least not very well. So, alright. So what we're going to do, I'm going to tell you right now, the Scimitars, they're pretty good. So we're going to push these up. Only thing about the Scimitars is you can't let infantry get too close. So just be careful with that. Alright, so let's do infantry. Wow, that does not give us very much. I wish I could have more infantry. We do have some of these guys as well, so that should help. So what do you guys think about Broken Arrow? Let me know what you guys think. And I'm curious if you're the type of player who just cares about gameplay over, aesthetics. I am super bummed that there's basically no replay system. And I think that's kind of redonkulous. Just because, if you ever play online, you want to see, how good you did or how bad you did, and learn from your mistakes. Kind of hard to do that when you can't watch the replays,
Edastage marsruut. Kuuldel, 100. Veok kuuldel.
So I'm doing this little cheeky thing here.
Varsti kohal.
I'm gonna go pick these guys up.
Artillery, take cover. This
Even
is
though,
announcing their attack. Prepare to fight.
Sommuk on valmis. Õhusadam, liigume. Kaujesmašina готова visam. Занят. Kuusimtur. Selge. Ümber
God
paignetada.
damn.
Gaasi grida. Näisid.
Alright. I do like the sound effects. They're pretty good. Yep.
Radam visu.
Look at these scimitars slapping it.
Transport kontaktis. Transport siin. Oleme lahingus. Занят. Izvirzāmies. Dūmu siena izlikta.
We're being a little
Jūsu
biatches,
ausis un
because, yeah. That was quick. Alright guys, that animation was pretty redonkulous. Oh shit. They're coming in heavy. Support. Oh, they're really charging that right side.
Keda me liigutame? Izlūkošanas speciālisti gatavi.
I think they got it though.
Izlūki gatavi izlūkot. Klausulis, paslēpsimies tur.
Yeah, there's a lot going on right now.
Visas gaismas zaļas. Uguns intensīva. Ekipāža tīra. Braucam atpakaļ.
Feel bad for these Russians. Nice hit there. Not sure what they got there.
Kellel moona vaja on? Mis meid ees ootab? Kohe liigume sinna.
Shit.
Kaujesmašīna cītīgi gaida.
Look at them, they're trying to come right through the middle. Alright, this is actually pretty cool. Oh, look at that smoke. This is from the enemy. It's actually pretty good. Get over here. Yeah. Hurry up.
Excellent. Their probing attacks have been repelled. Additional reserves are available. Use them to reinforce your positions.
So check this out. Here we have the Spartan Spike with the Spike LR, 1600 meters times 3, 700. That's pretty damn good. And you pair that up with that, I mean, that's pretty good.
Kaujesmašīna gatava visam.
In a rush to withdraw from the base, they had to leave a pair of Leopard tanks behind. If you have time, you might want to send a unit there to retrieve them before they get captured.
They're getting folded over there. Last time I actually helped them out.
Load sain ajateenistuses.
Oh, this is cool. Check it out. UH-60. Alright, so we're gonna go try to pick up those, the tanks there. So I'm trying to resupply everybody. Okay, here we go. We're gonna unload this position. And
Another artillery strike. Prepare for second assault.
Holy crap, did you see that? Let's go. Right. Wow. Okay, so they spotted my, ah, damn. Well, they definitely clapped that. Nice. That was sweet. Here you are. Get over here. Look at that. Boom. So we almost lost our Scimitar here. Very close. These guys are fairly damaged. I'm going to pull them back. And you hit the Z key. That's the shortcut there. That guy has really long range. Let's pull it back. Oh yeah, they're pushing hard.
Attack repelled. Our positions are now clearly identified. Expect much heavier assault next time.
Alright, so we did a pretty good job defending that. So what I'm doing is setting up basically a small convoy. So we could do basically a tactical retreat, essentially. Oh, we got an enemy drone. It's not good.
Holy fuck! This artillery barrage is massive. They decided to simply level our positions. Fall back to the second defensive line immediately. Run!
For some reason, I was literally over here, and it's not showing me the it might be a time thing where you can't see it until a certain time, but I'm not sure, honestly. All right, so let's do this real quick. All right, you go back and unload here. You come here.
Mēs šaujam, viņi sprākst. Prettanku vienība klāt. Mēs te no visas Latvijas kopā.
Okay, let's
Mehanizēti kainieki,
start to retreat here.
Mehanizētie kainieki, klausās pavēles. Zemesardze klausās. Mēs nodrošināsim, ka viņi galvas nebāzīs ārā. Aizstāvēsim savējos. Bruņmašīna klausās pavēles. Gāzi grīdā un aiziet. Izlūk speciālisti kaujā ar ienaidnieku. Kaujas mašīna gatava.
And now we can see the leopards right there. Just want to pick up both the leopards. And actually, I do want to pick up a supply truck if I can at some point.
First Leopard tank retrieved. The second was last spotted next to the shooting range. Go get it fast.
Strēlnieki nekad nav bijuši gatavāki. Sprintā, aiziet!
Our last reserves from Riga are available. You can call them in.
Yeah, that's not a coincidence. I just magically freaking just hit me right. Well, they do have a drone.
Vienība, gatavībā kārt.
Okay, that's really cool. Hold on.
Vienība cietusi, bet tāpat gatavi kaujai. Dodam pretī, cik vien varam. Šausim līdz stobrideks. Kājās un aiziet. Šeit būs jaunais ložmetēju kalns. Varbūt pēc visa šī šeit ievākšos.
They are approaching the second line of defense.
Ieroči,
Hold
smagi,
it!
bet tāpat šauj pretī.
Man, these guys are... Man, that would be a shitty feeling. Not everybody gets to get out. These guys are really trying. They're just going so slow. Yeah, those guys are gonna be picked off.
Lai tik skrien mums virsū, gribētos redzēt. Zemesardze cīņā. Visi iekšā, iekšā. Dūmenes. Zemesardzes vienībā ievainotie. Logistika siin. Edastage marsruut.
Make them here in the corner. Hopefully they can
Zemesardze aizsargā mūsējos.
do something over there.
Vienībā ievainotie. Ienaidnieki redzami, bet drīz nebūs. Gaidāmi liikutavē. Izlūk mašīna gatava braukt. Atceramies, aiz mums ir mūsu ģimenes. Mājā iekšā. Ceru pēc šī atgriezties darbā. Šeit zemesardze, tik sakiet, ko vajag. Kaujas mašīna, kaujas gatavībā. Važiojam.
Alright, so we're gonna have this guy
Tamsta.
here as fast as possible. hopefully we can resupply those tanks.
Laikam darbā neatgriezīšos. Kainieki dzird skaidri un gaiši.
Make those guys reconnect.
Meži, ceļi vai pļavas? Mēs mākam slēpties visur.
Magasin vaevu 6 tundi, aga liigume.
Kaujas mašīna klausās. Kaujas mašīna gatava visam. Atpakaļ gaitā. Izlūk speciālistiem visas gaismas zaļas. Pretanku komanda meklē tankus.
Both Leopards retrieved. Now get out of the base before the Russians arrive.
Izlūki gatavi izlūkot. Atpakaļ gaitā. Skaties pogulī. Ripojam atpakaļ. Dūmi izlikti. Redzamība viņiem nekāda. Cīnējus dzirdam. Mēs esam gatavi. Bruņmašīna klausās pavēles. Mērķis saņemts. Ejam uzbrukumā. Laižam atpakaļ. Mums ir ievainotie. Šomus transportu nevar. Aiziet. Vēl skaļāk viņiem.
God dang, this push is crazy.
Mašīna zem jūsu komandas. Tur būs labāks skats. Ekipāža klausās. Esam gatavi vest kainiekus. Saņemts. Esam ceļā. Sõida läbi! Kaujas mašīna cītīgi gaida.
Sektoris dega, bet į tašką judam. Plienas laukia veiksmo. Ties peale tuleme.
Bruņmašīna gatava karam. Mēs viņus atradām! Cīnīsimies līdz pēdējam! Braucam atpakaļ! Atpakaļ! Pretanku vienība vēl nepadosies! Atpakaļ gaitā!
Man, that's a strong push.
Transporta status sarkans.
Logistika töötab. Load said ajateenistuses.
Šī būs jaunā līgsta. Klausos, paslēpsimies tur. Mēs te no visas Latvijas kopā. Kaujas mašīna apšaudē. Sadosim viņiem. Cietuši esam, bet vēl dzīvi.
Me ei ole tank!
Man, we're getting slapped right now hard.
Bruņu transportieris gatavs. Sakiet virzienu. Izvirzāmies.
We really need something to counter this armor.
Jätka liikumist! Sõida! Masin on vigastatud!
Motors vēl dzīvs. Šādi atskati neiziesim. Braucam atpakaļ. Ekipāža klausās. Esam gatavi vest kainiekus. Virzāmies uz norādīto punktu tagad. Ienaidnieks fiksēts. Mērķa koordinātas saņemtas. Laižam atpakaļ. Izlūk speciālisti kaujā ar ienaidnieku. Atpakaļ gaitā. Skaties pogulī.
Kellel varustust vaja on?
Zemesardze sargā.
Looks like we're gonna lose that one. That's such a crazy assault, though. That's rough.
Ekipāža kaujā. Kaujai gatavi, bet ne visi veseli. Vēl skaļāk viņi nevar. Mēs samaksājam par visu spīdometru. Izmanto visus ciparus. Mūs nedrāž no
Soomustransport valmis. Kohe liigume sinna. Varsti kohal. Selge. Ümber paikneda.
Kuģis vēl ir. Dzinēji strādā. Ja mēs kritīsim, mēs to darīsim drosmīgi.
Gaas põhja! Sõida, sõida, sõida! Vasin sai tabamuse. Soom valmis.
Mājā iekšā un meklē ko citu. Viņus mums šauj.
Soomuk on valmis. Sihtmärk kinnitatud. Tuli vaba.
They went through our defenses
God
like hot
damn
knife
it.
through butter. One flank lost means the other must retreat.
Damn,
This
that's
is not a
bullshit.
fighting retreat anymore. But
That's
they're
stupid.
out.
As soon as they take that zone, you're pretty much just fucked. You don't even get a chance to retake it. That's dumb. Yeah, we didn't do amazing, but well, there you guys have it. Get to see me get my ass kicked. Now I don't play Broken Arrow very much, but it's still super fun. I honestly had a great time playing this scenario. I do think that last wave is like super fucking strong. Like you pretty much have to play it perfect to get it right the first time. But again, if you guys want to take a quick look, we were using the Scimitar right here. Used it quite a bit, and it's got the 170 millimeter, and they also have armor piercing rounds as well. You can also get these things a little bit more up armor too, which would definitely help bring up the value of these. I wish I could have done that, but that wasn't really an option during the game. So like we were saying, there's definitely quite a few new units. I didn't have access to all of this because again, you're splitting it between 3 different countries. We didn't even get to use the CV-90s, so it might be easier to play as Lithuania or Estonia versus Latvia. So I think depending on, I think Lithuania got these Vilkas right here, which are a little bit more armored, but again, you're also going to be going up against probably T-90s in that scenario. I have a feeling that if they give you better armor, you're going to go up against some crazy stuff. We couldn't shoot down that drone, which really sucked because they just had perfect recon over us. We didn't have a single unit that had anti-air, which was dumb in my opinion. No artillery support. We sure as hell didn't have any tanks until the very end, which didn't come in. All right. So you guys wanted to kind of see all the units that they have available. Now, obviously, when you play the scenarios, you're not going to have all of this at your disposal, but if you do play, you know, PvP or co-op against AI, you will have a lot more capabilities. So, you know, I did play as Estonia before, but again, when you play as Estonia in that scenario, you basically have absolutely zero armor, so it's very difficult. But again, helicopters, I feel like you definitely can't play as the Baltic states by themselves. You need to pair something with it. I mean, again, because the best you're going to get, you know, is this helicopter here with a bunch of hydro rockets. It's pretty much the best that you're going to get for damage, okay? And then this thing, you know, grenade launchers are pretty strong. So, but less ammo. Again, so anti-infantry is pretty much all they have for helicopters. Also, the L-39 Albatros is also really only good with this setup. I personally think, unless you're trying to use it to shoot down other helicopters. The rocket pods are pretty good. If you compare this to the Russian counterpart, you know, this Su-25 heavily outmatches the L-39, and I'm not sure if they're going to add more fighter jets to Lithuania, Latvia, and Estonia, because they do have them. You know, the Su, slightly heavier, but it's faster, it can maneuver better, it is much more heavily armed. You guys can see all the statistics there, and it has the capability to add a lot more to it in comparison to the L39. There are some bomb capabilities, but they're just not, you know, they're not heavy hitters. Now it does have a lot larger radius, can definitely kill infantry, and it does have a high damage overall, but the armor piercing is not great. So, you know, it could drop maybe 2,000 pounds of bombs, which can definitely do some damage. 27J here acts more of a as a supply more than anything. I wouldn't really use this as a recon plane. So that's really all they have. So overall, I think their arty is pretty good, but the, you know, the anti-air is fairly weak. You have this, the NASAMS, only 6 missiles. Then you have this medium range thing, and then you have some infantry who probably have some man pads. But besides that, it's pretty weak. You saw this in the trailer right here, which is pretty cool. I do think this is looks pretty rad. That is pretty awesome. Check that out. That does go pretty hard. Look how massive the barrel of that is. And I'm just curious if you... There you go. So 90mm heat round. It's good. It gets vehicles and infantry, apparently. That would be horrifying to get hit with that. You got your reload time, 5 to 6 seconds, and 3 to 4 seconds to aim it, which is fairly quick. So I do think this is really cool about Broken Arrow. These type of statistics, where it pretty much gives you everything you need to know. And if you really study this well, you would be a very good player, in my opinion. As long as you knew, you know, grand strategy as well, not just tactics and statistics, I think you'd be a good player. Overall, you know, currently right now, it is the only game that's doing modern, you know, things. Modern vehicles that are the closest thing we got to what people have today. You know, you have Warno, obviously, which is more of the Cold War era, and you have Regiments, which is also a great game. But Broken Arrow right now definitely leads in this category. Until we have more people come in and challenge them, you know, this is probably the best thing to play, and you kind of have to bear with them because a lot of things are still in development. So let me know what you guys think overall. What do you think about the scenario? How did you guys fare? I know I got smacked, but I'm not embarrassed to post myself losing the scenario. Honestly, I know it's a little embarrassing, but it was fun. I'm gonna go play it again and just kind of learn how to try different tactics. I think I need to use my infantry a little more to soak up those, you know, armored vehicles before I use my scimitars to try to stop them, and hopefully get those leopards at end game, because I think that's really, really key to be able to hold out long enough, because eventually you go up against T-90s and stuff like that. So, you know, it's definitely a very versatile group. I wouldn't say it's a heavy hitter. The artillery is very nice. I do like the leopards. They're very capable, can go toe-to-toe with pretty much any tank in the game. CV-90s can go up against most infantry fighting vehicles from the Russians. But, you know, obviously the Terminator would probably slap this. It's still fun to just have like a truck like this and have a, you know, a Milan missile ready to fire. Just kind of quick and mobile. As you guys can see, they're going more for mobility, I think, and stealth. Even the infantry, just smaller numbers, I think, overall. I do need to try out this, you know, building a deck and seeing how it does. I do want to use this TGB PVPG, which looks just like a lot of fun. And the Type-X too, you could do quite a bit, you know, with this as well. It's pretty capable, but yeah, they don't have a lot of like super strong armor except for the Leopard. The AA is, you know, they do have, you know, medium to long range, to let's say short range, which be this right here, the Unimog, which is very similar to something that the Russians have. And of course the Vilkas are also super interesting. You can probably do some interesting layouts here, but I guess it doesn't really allow you to change much, but you do have these anti-tank missiles. You have 2 of them, 1600 meters, 700 armor piercing capability, which is pretty good. And the Bushmaster 2, the Bushmaster 3 is 40 millimeter. I looked it up, but I do think it says 35 by 228 millimeter API, which is really interesting to me. The CV-90 has the option of 35 millimeter, which is 50 Bushmaster autocannon, MK3 and MK4 variants. So the caliber of the CV-90 is 35 millimeters by 228 millimeters for the cartridge casing, which is actually really interesting. So that's the length. And in real life, it can shoot 4,000 to 5,000 meters. So, this is kind of one of those things where in game, it's hard to get long range shots like this. But it'd be super cool if somebody made a mod for Broken Arrow with realistic ranges to a point. Because obviously, you'd be shooting from the corners of the map. And I know visibility is a huge part of that too. Even in real life, if you could shoot 4,000 to 5,000 meters, it's rare that you have a road that's straight enough and flat enough for you to shoot around from that far away accurately, right? You lose accuracy. There's a lot of physics that are involved, but I do wish you could do a little bit more long range in this game, which would be pretty cool. Now, when you're playing this game, they do have a hotkey you can press. You can bind it to whatever you want, and it will actually show you the terrain height, so that way you know if you can take the shot or not. You guys did want to see some gameplay with Latvia here, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you guys got anything out of this, please do share, subscribe, like, really helps the channel grow. And as always, I appreciate your guys' time. And you guys can support this channel 2 different ways. We do have a veteran clothing store that's linked to the video, as well as we do partner with Black Rifle Coffee as an affiliate link. If you guys want to buy from a veteran brand, you can't go wrong with Black Rifle Coffee. I'll have that in the affiliate link if you guys want to check it out. That'd be awesome. All right, guys. Hope you guys have a great weekend, and take care.